Hi, everybody. Welcome to our Stamp It Your Way monthly video. If this is your first time joining us, we are so excited you're here. If you've watched us before, you'll know that we're just a little bit on the crazy side, but we are very happy that you decided to come back and see the craziness all over again, right?
Well, we've got some fabulous projects so that they're going to want to stay.
Exactly. I'm Betsy Crider. For anybody that doesn't know me, my business is BCreative Stamping, and I'm located in Pennsylvania.
And I'm Mary Ellen Stites, and my business is Create with M.E or Create with Me, and I am in Central Illinois.
There you go. We are bringing you our Stamp It Your Way monthly class. We do this where we send out kits to folks that sign up for it. It's only $35 if you're local, $44 if you need it shipped, but you get enough product to make 8 cards. There's 4 different designs. You make 2 of each. We also include product. So we include some designer series paper some months. Some months are adhesive, some months are gems. It just all depends. And it all coordinates, and you have plenty to work with when you get your packet at home.
I think this month was all 3 of those things, wasn't it?
I think it was, as a matter of fact, now that you say that. Yeah, I think it was.
Paper and adhesive and gems. So
that's right. Yeah. So, and it's just a great way for people to do something at home. The reason we call it Stamp It Your Way is because we might use product that you might not have at home, but that's okay because you can stamp it your way. You can do what you have and use what you have at home and make it just as beautiful as we're making it with what we have.
Definitely. And there's techniques that you'll learn, and there's fancy folds that you'll learn, and you can use it with just a variety of things that you've got in your stamping space. So sit
Absolutely.
back and watch and enjoy and take some notes if you want, and you can always come back and watch again. So.
And definitely let us know what you're making. We would love to see what you're making. Please share your projects with us. We always get inspiration from you as well. So please do that. And if you have not subscribed to our channels, our YouTube channels, please do that as well. We're both on Facebook, so you can find us there. But yeah, let's just share some inspiration and get some great ideas, right?
Definitely.
Okay. Well, June, just as a quick reminder, June is the end of we're still in June, right? We're still in June. It's the end of the sweet sale. So there's a buy one, get one 50% off sweet sale going on right now. And that's SUITE, not SWEET. So it's the sweet sale. It's suites of products, and anything within those product suites are part of that sale. So some things have kind of been sold out because it's been a popular sale. So make sure you check it out and get in on that before that ends at the end of June.
Yeah, and if you have questions about it, definitely reach out to us and we can help you. But don't wait till the last minute.
No, exactly. And and if you need help, like kind of figuring out how to place the order and how to get the best deal, we can help you do that as well. Okay. Well, I have a little bit of sippy sip here. Do you have a little sippy sip there?
I do.
Cheers, my love. Cheers. So we're gonna have a little cheers.
That's a little hint on what we're doing.
A little cheers, sip, sip. Yep. So we're gonna do a little cheering here this month. We're doing the cheers and sips.
If you just make a note, if you're watching this at 8 a.m. in the morning, it's not 8 a.m. now. Just so you know, we're not.
We're bad. We're not that bad. Yeah, exactly. It's been a long, very long day, so it's actually a good thing now. But yes, we might get worse as we go. The more we sip, so just warning you. Just warning you.
You just never know what's going to happen.
We don't either. That's the whole part of this. That's kind of not a good thing. All right, let me switch you down to my desktop so we can kind of show you what we're working on here this month. Excellent. All right, so this month what we are featuring is the Cheers and Sips bundle. Cheers and Sips bundle. So you've got these cute little glasses. You've got all these little sprigs that can go inside your glasses to make up all your little cocktail or mocktail drinks. I'm going to be using some of these. Mary Ellen's going to be using some of these. There's dies that coordinate with it, which are fantastic. So all these little, there's a one for the cherry, and there's one for the little blackberry, the strawberry. All of them have dies that match up with it. Also included in this suite are the Glass and Gardens embossing folders. And that's a 2 embossing folder. And these are a little bit smaller, but these are great. I'm actually using both of these. Did you use any of these, either of these
No,
on your
honestly,
projects?
it's funny because I'm looking at those thinking, oh, oops. No, I didn't. But that's great. I'm so glad that you're using them both. But what's really nice about those, Betsy, is that they fit in the little mini emboss machine, which is what I'm going to use today. Although I'm not using
They
those
do.
folders. So
Yep. So I use both of them. So you'll get to see both of these folders. But again, if you don't have these folders, you can use something at home. This suite also comes with this mesh gold ribbon. It is so luscious, right?
beautiful.
It's
I
so pretty. And
love
it's very easy to work with too. It's not, it's just really very pretty. So it comes with the gold striped mesh ribbon. That's also part of the suite. But I think the star of this suite would probably be the, let me get rid of this so that I don't drop it somewhere. The star of the suite is probably the designer series paper. So the designer series paper, and you can see I've been using mine quite a bit, so mine's kind of really mess here, but I'll just pull a couple of the sheets out. So you can see how you have your different little fruits in there and your sprigs to make up your drinks. You've got this one, I think, is one of my favorite sheets. Look at all those little drinks on there, right?
Yeah.
And this is a great one for fussy cutting. And I'm actually using a couple of these. Like I think I'm using this one. I'm using this one. Mary Ellen's using a boatload of them. So on one of hers. I'm going to show you this sheet as well. This one is a lot of fun. It coordinates with the dies. So I'm going to be showing you that on how to use that with the dies on one of my cards that's coming up. Let's see here. This one, I'm using this one on one of my cards. This is, I think, one of my favorite papers. It's so pretty.
I love that paper. And it's just showing you right there in just those 3 or 4 pieces that you showed, like the variety. And I mean,
Exactly. It is. It's so bright. It's so cheery. This one also, I keep saying, this is one of my favorites because I think I like every sheet in here. Look at all of those little bottles and drinks. And isn't this the detail that went into this is so stunning, right?
And the colors.
And colors, right? I think that was all the sheets I have because I've been, like I said, I've been using it. And then the back side is just all kinds of geometric kind of different patterns and solid colors, right? So you can use the fronts, the backs. But this one is a great paper. Again, the dies kind of coordinate with it. I'm using a couple of these. So let me get this out of the way. But we wanted to, because this was such a great suite, we actually, Mary Ellen and I got together with our friend Jody Breckbill. She's the Stampin' Queen. We got together with her to offer a bonus class. It's a separate class from our Stamp It Your Way. It's called Sip, Sip, Hooray, because we have these new dies that are called the party dies, and they are truly amazing. There are these banners that it's cutting. So if you look on this side, you might be able to see there's the banner. So it cuts banners, and then there's also one that does the alphabet. They are amazing. So we thought, well, if our customers are buying it, because it's not necessarily cheap, but if our customers are buying those, then we would love to give you a free class to go with it. So during the month of June, we offered a free class. If you bought the party dies, not only did you get to make 2 cards, which Jody designed, you got to make a gift box, which Mary Ellen's going to show you a little bit later. And then you got to also make this little bag tag. So you have your bag that you're going to give them their little gift box. You're going to give them the birthday card. And then you're going to hang this on your bag when you go to give them their gift. Isn't that cute?
It's so cute.
Right? And then I just used some of, again, this is all the paper out of the Celebratory Sips. And I'm going to say that wrong all night long. Celebratory Sips designer series paper. And I just fussy cut those to kind of add it. And what we did also is, because if you got this, we offered a bonus tutorial. The bonus tutorial is this adorable little banner. Because again, if we're going to celebrate our friend and we're going to give them a card and we're going to give them their gift in a little box, we're going to also give them a banner that says cheers.
I
cheers.
love it.
Isn't it cute?
It's so
right.
cute.
So it creates, again, it's using the designer series paper out of this pack that we just did. But look how cute that is, right? All of those little pieces just kind of cut out to just decorate it up. Isn't that nice? This tutorial.
Go ahead. No, I was just I'm going to say what you were getting ready to say. So
You're going to
go
say
ahead.
what I was going to say? Because we're just in sync. We're in sync.
Yeah.
This tutorial, because it is the end of June, so this class is kind of done, but the tutorial is still available for purchase. So if you visit our PayHip stores, and there'll be links in our YouTube and our description there, there's a link that you can go out and buy the tutorial for the cards. It's all included: the cards, the gift box, the banner, the tag to go on your bag, and of course this bonus tutorial to make this adorable banner. Okay.
Yeah. So
And there
when we
are
say,
video links in that too, right?
yeah. So I say when we say a bonus tutorial, when you're buying the actual tutorial, there's the video link. So each project has a video. So really, I mean, if you're buying the tutorial, it's just that there is 4 projects. So
Yeah,
instead
4
of
instead of
3.
3. Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly. All right, so are we ready to get started on my projects for the month?
Yes. Yeah.
All right, so my first one is this one. It's your day, let's celebrate. I fell in love with that Blackberry Bliss color. Blackberry Bliss is one of my favorite colors. So I fell in love with this card, but I love the fact that it's also got like this little bit of a unique fold. You see that?
That's cool. Yeah, that's
Isn't
really
that
cool.
cool? It's just different. It's just a different kind of fold. So in the packet that we gave everybody, they have gotten a piece of thick basic white. And they have, and by the way, if you have a catalog and you don't see thick basic white in your catalog, it's because it's not in there. But it is online. So if you go onto the online store, you can find thick basic white online. There's also a piece of basic white that is 3 by 8.5, and that's going to be for this, essentially, like I'm calling that like the inside card. There's a piece of old olive. There are 2 pieces of Blackberry Bliss. We've got some pieces of basic white, an envelope, of course, and then a piece of scrap for doing our greeting. So the first thing we're going to do is do a little bit of scoring and a little bit of cutting. Okay. So I am going to bring in my scorer first, because when you're working with thick basic white, it's sometimes easier if you score it than fold it. It doesn't always like it when you try to fold it because it's got that thicker quality to it. So I'm going to score this at 4 1/4 right there. 4 1/4. So I'm going to go ahead and score that. Super easy. Done with that.
Betsy, I see you use your scoreboard. Do you find that do you get as good of results with your scoring blade on your trimmer?
That's actually a very good question. I tell you the truth, I don't really know the answer to that. I don't know. What have you found?
Yeah, no, I don't have any problem. I usually use my trimmer because that's right there next to me, so I always have it. So that's what I
Right,
use.
because it's right here. Yeah, so the light one, I have an old style. So if you're looking at this and you're thinking, wait a second, does it match what I have at home? I have an old style. This is what I just keep underneath my desk. I need to, once these blades kind of die out, I'll switch over to the new one. But this light one's always the scorer and the darker one is the cutter. So could I have done this? Could I have gone to 4 1/4 here and scored that there? Yes, I could have done that. Yep, that also works. The reason that I want to score this in advance is because I do want to know where my front is, right? So I want to know which panel is going to be the front of my card because I'm going to cut this front panel. So if I'm going to open it up, this is the front of my card, and I'm going to open it up so that I have this front on the right-hand side. And I need to know where that score line is and where the bottom of my card is, because now I'm going to trim it. And there's a track in your cutter, and I'm going to line up the edge of that score mark up here, and I'm going to line that up with the end of the cardstock down at the bottom. So the corner of this corner, bottom right-hand corner, and the top left-hand corner, or top right-hand corner. Wait, sorry, back up, hold on. Top left-hand corner, bottom right-hand corner. There,
Correct.
I got it. Yeah, maybe I need another sip. Okay.
No, don't do
it. Don't do it. Now, when you are going to cut like this, where you're cutting it almost like an angle, sometimes what can happen is when you go to feed this, it can, I don't know if this is the official term, but it could booger up. And that sounds so crude, but it can booger up the end of your cardstock. It can kind of crumple it because that blade's kind of catching. So what I find is easier is to actually start inside the cardstock, push it down, bring it down, and then bring it the rest of the way up.
That's a fantastic tip.
Right? So that it doesn't kind of mess up or crumple the end of your cardstock. So there now is the front of my card. Okay. This piece is just extra. You can keep that in with all your extras. I'm going to bring in my Mossy Meadow piece because I'm going to do the same thing with my Mossy Meadow piece. I want to cut that top right corner. No, top left corner, bottom right corner. Goodness gracious. All right. There to there. Okay. And then I have a piece of designer series paper that I already have pre-cut. Okay. Now watch your directions. If you're doing the direction, if you have a paper that is directional, you're going to want to watch how you cut it so that this is going to line up and go properly. So again, I'm going top, left, bottom, right. Get that where it needs to go. So that I have these two pieces. Okay. I think I'm done with that. These are going to go on, get layered onto the Mossy Meadow pieces. So I'm just going to add a little adhesive here. It's just got like 1/8 of an inch border on it. And we included liquid glue this month as part of your kit. And if you are like me, I love liquid glue. It makes, because I can sit there and I can kind of wiggle that into the spot where I want it to go. So if I don't get it right on at first, that's okay. I have some time to get that where I want it to go. Right? There we go. How's that? Looks good?
Perfect. Yeah.
Now, this is my card base, but this piece is actually going to go in the inside. Okay? So that's going to go in the inside. My top piece up here. I'm going to line that up, and I'm just going to leave a little border, top and bottom. Oops. There we go. So there is my top, and then this piece is going to go on here, and I find it easier just to open that up to adhere this piece on. It's going together quickly, right?
Yeah.
Pretty easy to do. I love a unique fold. I know Mary Ellen is all about the different folds.
I know.
She does them more than I do.
I'm sitting here drooling because I'm definitely using that. It's so fun.
She does them more than I do. So there's the front of my card. How easy is that? Now, the other piece that we have is the basic white piece. Okay, this is going to be our inside. So this one, I just did regular basic white, so it's on a little not as thick. So I'm just going to fold that in half. And I have 2 pieces of Blackberry Bliss, and that's going to go on the fronts. That's going to go on the front of this one. That's the front of my inside card. And then this one's going to go on the inside. Like that. There we go. Okay, so there is my card, and I can go ahead and adhere this to the inside of my card. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open this up, kind of figure out where I want it to go, because this corner up here, you don't want to go down too low or it won't open, right? So I want to be careful about where I line this up. It's going to be centered, but I'm going to have a little bit more of a gap there. Can you see that?
Yeah.
The gap from where this opens to where that one.
Yeah, now you can see it.
Now I see it. So it's going to be kind of centered on my card, maybe up a little bit, but you want to make sure that this opens and then this opens. So I'm going to add some liquid glue, and I'm going to do a little bit extra on this one only because it is a piece that is a movable piece. So I have an idea where I'm going. So I'm going to kind of go there, and then I'm going to quickly put that down and then shimmy that into place. How's that look?
Looks good.
Does that look good?
Yeah, that was good eyeballing there.
Yeah. So there is my there's my card. All right, now I went ahead, there were two pieces of basic white that were in with it, and one of them is going to be for the inside, and then one of them is going to be for the front. Now for the front, what I wanted to do was I wanted to emboss this. So I'm using this one that kind of looks like glass. It's supposed to, isn't that how you're taking that?
I think so. Kind of like an old-fashioned.
Yeah, like an old-fashioned glass. I'm trying to see. Can you see that?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah. So that's what what it looks like when it's embossed. So this piece is going to go on my front.
But that would be pretty, you know, anything you have that's got a small print, or even since you use floral DSP, you could do something with a floral, and it would.
You could do the floral on this one
Yeah.
as well. Yeah, so there you go. I actually, help me remember, I did a card, I can grab it later. I did a card in one of my classes where we did that on vellum, and you really can see it pop on the vellum.
Yeah.
Okay, so that one, and then this piece is gonna go in the inside. Right here. Okay. Now for the fun part. So what I did was I took this piece of designer paper, and I'm going to take my dies. And what this is meant to do, it kind of looks kind of awkward, right? It looks kind of weird. They're all different sizes, but they're meant to line up with the glass dies. See that? So that you can, I put it up a little bit because I maybe want my drink to come down a little bit. So this is what I've gotten when I've cut them with right out of the paper. So instead of me doing any kind of watercolor wash or any kind of, you know, inking, I can just cut it straight from the designer series paper and get those glasses. Right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this is really super pretty. I like this idea of being able to do that. So I've already done that. And then also what I have is I have a piece of this paper because I wanted my little drink umbrella to kind of match. So I'm going to bring in my Blackberry Bliss. I'm going to bring in the top of my umbrella. And I'm actually going to stamp this on the designer series paper. So I always keep all kinds of scrap in my packet just to see what I want. And I think I want that little flower that's right there. So I'm going to stamp it there. Okay. And I just remembered that there was one other piece. There's a stem in here that I forgot to grab. And I'm going to need that piece right there. And then a block would be helpful. And I'm going to bring in this little piece of scrap. And I'm going to stamp that. Okay. Then I'm going to cut these out. There is, I believe, a die that will cut out the like little mixed drink. I think you're using that, right? With the olive?
Yeah.
Yeah. So you could do that where you just kind of cut it out. I am just making this super easy because it's just going to be something that's going behind my drink umbrella. So it doesn't have to be super crazy pretty. It's just a little line to have that there. And then my umbrella, I'm going to go ahead and fussy cut that out as well.
Yeah, there is a die for that, but fussy cut.
Is it?
Yeah, there's a die for that, but fussy cut sometimes is
to me, it's almost like faster. For those that don't like to fussy cut, please feel free to fast forward. If this is painful for you, please feel free to fast forward. But like Mary Ellen said, there is a die for it. I just have a tendency to be like, oh, I'll just fussy cut it real quick. While I have my ink pad out, I want to add some ice cubes to my drinks. So there's a little ice cube, which I think is super cute.
So cute.
It's so cute. So I'm going to stamp some ice cubes in there, and then I'm going to do them here as well. Kind of get them to stack on top of each other a little bit there. And then the last thing I'm going to stamp is going to be my greeting. And I just put it together. There's two different stamps. I just put them on the same block. We gave scratch paper because I'm going to cut that out as well. So there's my greeting. The other thing that I want to do is that I do have this little orangey, lemony slice for in my drink. And this is where I'm going to bring in this paper. And again, there is a circle die that will cut this out. I am just going to quickly fussy cut that out. And I'm also going to grab a hold of one of these little blackberries. So I'm going to just give this a quick little trim. Again, does not have to be perfect. There's that one. And then I'm going to cut out this little blackberry while I'm at it. And I think there's a die for those as well, right?
Yes, there is.
Does it cut the designer series paper, or does it only do the stamp? Do you know?
I'm going to tell you in a second. I think it will. No, I think it'll cut the paper.
Will it?
Yeah. Yes.
So don't be like me. Be smarter than me and use the die.
No.
Be smarter than me. Okay. And then while I have my scissors in my hand, I'm just going to cut these out as well while I'm going. So if you are a fussy cutter, if you find fussy cutting to be relaxing, give us a little shout out. If you're like, oh, heck no, give us a shout out on that as well. I believe I'm in the minority. I don't know very many that like to fussy cut. There's some out there. I'm not alone, but I think I'm in the minority. All right. So there are my greetings. There's all my pieces. Okay. Time to assemble. So this one is going to go down first, and I'm going to use a couple dimensionals on the back of this. And my drink is going to kind of come off of that. You see my little drink umbrella?
Yeah.
So I'm going to kind of line up where I think that's going to go and use a dimensional to hold that in place. Don't feel like you have to try to glue that down. Just use a dimensional to hold it. This one's going to go, I think, about here. And this one's going to go, before I push it down too hard, I'm going to kind of line it up a little bit. Bring it over a little bit. And that one can go there. That looks better. I'm going to do some dimensionals on the back of I'm just going to do one on the back of my little umbrella. And I'm going to put that there. Dimensionals on the back of this. This is going to overlap just a little bit, so I don't want dimensionals on this side. I only really want them on this side. And that's going to overlap a little bit. And here I want the little lemon slice. And then the last thing I have are my greetings. And this is where I just use a little bit goes a long way. A little bit of glue on that edge, just a little bit. And then I'm just going to have it kind of set there. I'm going to do the opposite on this side. So I'm doing it on the opposite side. And that one's going to go here. So they just kind of look like they're hanging there.
It's so cute.
Right? And then this little guy, I thought he would be cute in the inside. And you could have stamped him and colored him in if you wanted to. I just like the paper. So there's my little blackberry in the inside. There's my drinks. And then the last thing we have, this was included in your packets this month, are the strawberry slush. You can tell I love mine. Strawberry slush and pretty in pink gems. So I'm going to add a couple of these pretty little gems on here. So I'm going to do this one and this one. And I'll do one here. There you go. Easy, right?
Lovely.
That's it. Isn't that cute?
Yeah, I love it.
And then you could stamp on your envelope. I didn't do it. And you guys know how to do this, I think. You could stamp on your envelope, or could I cut another little blackberry to put on the corner of your envelope? But it's just, I just love this little card. It's so cute, right?
It really is.
Right? It's just very fun. I like it. So there's that one. That one's one done.
Okay.
Easy. Okay. My second card is even easier. Okay. Second card is this one. There we go. Little cheers there. This is using the soft sea foam. And you can see I did that embossing again right here. Okay. So this card's pretty easy. This is going to be a piece of 8.5 by 8.5 by 5.5 cardstock, just folded in half. I've got some designer series paper. So this is the back side of the one I just used, has these little green, this green pattern. And I'm going to use that with a piece of, there's a piece of the soft sea foam that I believe is 5.5 by 3.25. 5.5 by 3.25. And this is going to go down the middle. And what I did was I embossed that with that floral embossing folder. You see it?
Yes.
So it goes right down the middle. So when you're embossing this, it's pretty easy to line up by just putting it. Remember that the folders always have a line on them here, and it's a nice way of putting your paper in to kind of line something up. But this is a little bit, I'm going to bring it back just a little bit, and that way then I can get that full image kind of centered on there. You see it? It's kind of hard to see with this light.
No, you can see it.
Yeah. All right. So this one, I want to add these. Now you could cut a whole piece of designer series paper, but I'm like, I don't want to waste all that paper. So I'm just cutting these down. You could even make them smaller. I put them in 1 inch just so that it was easier to work with, but you could even cut those into 1/2 inch because all you're going to do is layer them behind that. So I'm going to add, and you could do the deboss side where the image is going down, or you could do the emboss side where the image is coming up. Did I say that right?
Yes, you did.
Yeah, emboss coming up at you, deboss kind of the image going down. You can pick and choose whichever one you like. I'm going to add a little thin layer of glue up here at the top, and I'm going to line this up. Nice thing is this designer series paper has little hash marks on it, so I can kind of see if it's even. And then I'm going to flip it over. I'm going to do the bottom. Gotta love saving paper, right? This paper's too pretty. This paper's too pretty to waste.
Yeah.
All right.
I like
so
every
there,
sheet. I mean, there isn't one sheet I don't love.
exactly. Yeah, I've used just about everything.
Yeah, it doesn't always happen.
This guy's going to go then on the front of your card, just like this. And that's decorated the front of your card, just super, super fast, super easy. Also in your packet is going to be a piece of the soft sea foam for the inside, and I also did a layer of the old olive to go with that for the inside. There is also where you're going to want to cut glass or two to go on your front. So I have one of them already done. I'll show you the second one here in a second. I have another piece of designer series paper that's going to go on my front. I have a piece that is for the greeting. And this is a piece, but I'm not quite sure what it's for. So maybe we'll see if I forgot something and figure that out. So there's an extra piece in my packet, but I'm not quite sure why I did that. All right. So if you wanted to, you could stamp one of the glasses and you could do it. But what I've been doing, I've been using this kit quite a bit, not only for like the Sip Sip Hooray tutorials that we did, but also in my regular classes. So what I did was I had all these extra little glasses already cut out, right? So I have them just ready to go. I just cut, and I keep like a packet in my designer series paper that just has all these little pieces, and then I go through and I figure out, okay, well, which one do I want to use on this card? I kind of have the green and the orange on that, but I think I'm kind of leaning towards this, like orange and orange. What do you think?
Yeah, I like that.
I kind of like the orange and the orange. It still has some green in it, so I think I'm going to do that one.
Was that white paper for your orange that you have tucked in your glass?
There you see, this is why I keep you around. I'm telling you. I am so glad I have you. I don't know what I would do without you, I swear. Funny story is we were both working on our tutorials for this and we were writing them up. And all of a sudden I was sending her corrections and then she was sending me corrections. It's like, sheesh, we really know what we're doing, don't we?
We're really good at this.
We're really good at this. We only haven't been doing this for like, what, 5 years now, and you'd think we've gotten it down, but it's not the case.
Yeah.
Oh my goodness, that's crazy. All right, so we're gonna fussy cut this one. There is no die that's gonna match this per se, so we're just gonna fussy cut this. And again, don't stress, just cut. Yes, I'm going to stamp the orange, which I have the stamp out. Look at that. I have the stamp. And I'm using the new Timid Tiger. And I am going to stamp my little orange right there. And then I wanted to color it in a little bit. So I'm going to go bring in a blender pen. Blender pen has like a glycerin, is that right? Like a glycerin in it that allows you to color. So if I use, for example, a block, I can use my ink pad to do this. I like to also like just take a block and just stamp it right in my ink pad to get a little bit of ink on it. And then I can just slowly pick that up. And I can add in some color on my orange slice. Right? Just adding some shading. Again, doesn't have to be perfect. Just adding a little bit of color to it. Easy, right?
Yeah, it looks nice.
And then again, you would use your dies because you're smarter than I am.
I don't think there's a die for that size.
Isn't there? I think there is.
No, well, there's there's a bigger one. I don't think yours is. Maybe it is. I guess it is. I guess that is the size. I'm going to use it.
I think it is.
There's
but you're going to be.
Yeah,
it's a circle. It doesn't take long to fussy cut a circle.
Right.
All right.
It just looks small on the screen.
And then I'm going to stamp my greeting, which I'm going to use Old Olive for that. And I'm going to stamp it on, I think this is a 3/4 inch piece. I'm just stamping cheers there and then getting rid of this. Okay. For this, to assemble this up here, what I want to do is I'm going to kind of cut this at an angle. And then I'm going to cut this side at an angle too. Okay. So that I have that for my front. What I did, and I think you're showing this as well, Mary Ellen, in there, we showed you the embossing folder that has all that texture to it that kind of makes that glass look. There also is a die that does the same thing. So you put this right on top and it creates almost like a little bit of a bumpy feel to it, right?
Yeah, some texture.
Yeah, it just adds texture to it, right? So that is, I already did that. And these are all going to kind of go together here. Add my paper to my front. I'm going to put this guy down first, but I want my orange slice. Now you could put the orange slice just on top like I did the other card, but I wanted it to kind of tuck down into my glass. So I'm going to take the orange and I'm just going to cut a slice. I'm just going to cut a line right in that orange, right like that. And then this guy is going to go right down on my drink like that. Isn't that cute?
Mm-hmm.
And then to hold that, I'm just going to use some dimensionals to hold that in place. So I'm going to put a dimensional here, here and here. This one's going to go kind of at an angle there. And then this one's going to kind of angle off of that one. I should sell stock in dimensionals because I'll tell you what, I would make some money on selling these dimensionals. I go through them like crazy. So there's my glass. I'm going to do the same thing with this. I'm going to kind of cut this at an angle to get my shears. I'm going to put that down just with some regular adhesive. Kind of offset that a little bit so you can kind of still see the paper back there. Whoops. And then the last thing I have is some, next to the last, I have some white baker's twine. I'm just tying a little bow and then going to use a glue dot to adhere that. I'm going to put that right there. Grab my bow. Give that a little trim. Then we need some gems. So I'm going to bring back in the, so when you're looking at these, there's strawberry slush and pretty in pink, but the ones up towards the top are almost like a clear. So they've got like a little bit of a gold accent to them, but they're also clear. So I'm going to grab this one and this one. Oops. And then another one up here. The last thing you can do, which I did not do in either one of mine, to tell you the truth, is the inside. You could stamp, again, the little orange slice right there. That actually looks cute. That came out better than I thought it was going to. All right, that's going to go there. And remember, basic white kind of gets expensive. We acknowledge that. It is very hard to make our basic white has, it's such a high quality. It's hard to find certain mills that are willing, that are able to produce the high quality that we want them to be. So sometimes paying for white can get expensive. So why not use the same color inside as the card base, especially when you're working with the subtles, right?
Yeah, it's nice.
Ta-da! That's it. Look how quickly those went together.
Yeah, they look great. I love them.
Cute, cute, cute. Yeah, so you can mix and match your colors. It's super easy.
So here is my first card. And it is a fun little easel card that it says cheers, it's your day. And then this little strawberry kind of holds it up so that it will sit on the desk, you know, just like.
It's so cute. It's very cute.
Super cute and super easy. And I'll show you how to do that. So what you're going to have is you're going to have a card base, which is Granny Apple Green. And this is just 5.5 by 4 1/4. You're going to need a piece of, this is the new in color strawberry slush, which I really love. It's 8 inches by 3 inches. That's our easel. You're going to have some scrap paper to do your strawberry. A couple of strips of 1 by 4 designer series paper. I use the one with the little strawberry slush dots. You're going to get, if or need a little window sheet. So here's got the tissue on it because you really just can't hardly see it. But that's a little piece of our window sheet, which is an acetate. Some scrap paper. We're going to do a little stamping and die cutting of some vegetables for our Bloody Mary, and then a little piece of crumb cake, a little strip for our greeting, and then a piece for our inside. And then this, so you've got 2 white. This one is basic white, and this one is watercolor paper. So we're going to start, because I'm going to give this time to dry. We're going to start with a watercolor paper. And you know me, you know I love to watercolor. So I wanted to do just a really quick watercolor wash. And I'm using strawberry slush, and I've got a little bit of ink here in the base of my ink pad, and then I'm using pretty in pink. So I'm using these 2 colors. They're very close. This is a very light version, and that one gets a little darker, and that's exactly how I'm going to use them. So I'm using a water painter. We do not sell water painters anymore. They are looking for a new source. But a paintbrush, or many of you have these, or you could also grab your Wink of Stella. That would work beautifully on here. So what I'm going to do is I've got water in here, but sometimes I just like to have a little bit of water because I'm going to wet my paper first. And I'm just doing I'm just getting my paper wet so that my ink will flow. So I've got my paper wet, and I'm going to grab my pretty in pink, and I'm going to start here at the top with a really light wash of color. And you can go over it if you want it to get darker.
We should have created some sort of like every time we said sip or something like that, we should have had a little bit of a drinking game. I'm telling you.
Now you say it.
I know, right? I wasn't thinking earlier. Now I'm like, as I'm sitting here watching you, thinking, I'm just gonna sip away.
I was just gonna say you were doing your thing, and I was just sipping away. So see how subtle that is. See, that's like not that much difference, but I can go over it to kind of give it that ombre. So I'm going a little dark. I can keep adding some color. I just want this to be a little bit of a background to my images, and then I want to let that dry. So that's why I wanted to do that in advance. So I'm just going to stop right there and let that dry on its own. It'll be dry by the time I get back to it. And I'm going to put my paintbrush away and my water so I don't spill it all over myself. Okay, so I'm going to get my base, and we're going to work with our strawberry slush and our designer series paper. This, like I said, this piece is 3 inches by 8 inches, and you're going to bring in your scoring tool, whether you use the scoreboard or your trimmer. I'm going to get my cutting blade out of the way, and this is super easy scoring. It's just at 2 inches, and it's at 4 inches. That's it. 2 inches and 4 inches on the long side. And that's going to create our easel. So this is going to fold in, and then this one will fold back to create an easel. Okay, just like that. So I am going to put some glue on that, and I'm going to glue this right to the center of my card. And if you are not like me and who likes to eyeball it, then use your grid paper or your glass mat, just like that, and then you can get it centered. I'm kind of an eyeball person, so I just want to center it top to bottom, and I'm going to just eyeball it just like that with
Yeah,
my
if you haven't
sword.
learned that about us by now, we tend to wing things as we go.
I just have always been an eyeball person.
Yeah,
So,
just wing
and
it.
then I've got 2 strips, like I said, of 1 inch by 4 inch designer series paper. And I'm just going to put that on either side. And that just is kind of an illusion of making it look like it's this full
The
card
full
when it's
piece of paper,
close.
right?
Yeah,
Yeah, kind of like the one
yeah,
I just did, right? Having like, it looks like
exactly.
there's a full piece of paper back there.
Exactly. And again, you could use whatever adhesive you like to use. I really like to use the liquid adhesive pretty much all the time, but not, I sometimes shake things up. I'm going to take my basic white and I can put it inside here because, well, actually, I do have to stamp on it. I probably should have them, but we're going to hope that Mary Ellen can stamp.
We have complete faith. You didn't drink that much yet.
Did I bring it? Oh, maybe I didn't even bring that stamp. It's your day. Let me see if I have it in here. It's your days right here. Just going to change that out. No, I didn't. It's your day. Okay.
Yep.
And then I'm going to add my strawberry in a little bit. I'm going to stamp it and color it. And I just use strawberry slush ink there. Okay, so now we can go back to our paper. We'll still leave that. We'll do a little bit of stamping and die cutting on here. So I wanted to use the celery. So I'm bringing in some of my Granny Apple Green on Granny Apple Green. And I'm going to stamp my celery.
Every time you say celery, it makes me think of the old color we used to have. Remember? Certainly celery.
Yes. I'm going to
Yes.
stamp an olive.
It was such an ugly green.
No, it wasn't. If I wanted to, no, it's fine. You could just leave it like that. If you wanted to add a little bit of dimension to your celery, you could just squiggle in there to get, it's gonna kind of darken your celery. You could do a little bit on your olive. I'm just gonna leave it, but I just want to show you that you could add some blend to it, and it just gives it a little pop of color. Okay. And then on my olive, I've got to have my pimento showing. So I'm going to just color my little pimento, and I'll just do all my die cutting at once. This one is for this crazy little pick. This is what's going to hold my olive in my Bloody Mary. And I'm just going to stamp it. I'm going to stamp it diagonally, just like that. And there is actually a die for that, believe it or not.
Yes, there is.
And then I'm going to show you how I use the paper, this sheet right here for mine. I actually stamped my glasses. So I like to, a lot of times, instead of using black, I just go with basic gray. I like basic gray. It's just like a kind of a tone down. If I don't want something just jumping out at me and slapping me in the face, I'll use a basic gray. It'll still give you that dark look, but it's not so
Stark. Yeah, it's not
yeah,
so
yeah,
stark. That's a great idea. Yeah, I
yeah.
love that idea.
So I'm going to stamp my glass, and I'm going to use this because this has already got the watercolor wash, right? So I'm going to use this dark red one here, and I'm going to go above the red because I want, the drink's not going to go all the way up to the lip. So there's my red. And then I am going to use this long one here. And I'm going
Now
to
that you
have
say that, I'm sitting here thinking, should I have stamped mine first? I
no,
didn't.
I like yours. I like yours. That gave us two different ways.
Yeah, I didn't even think about that. I now that you do that, I'm thinking, oh, was I supposed to stamp them?
No, I don't think so.
Just-
No, I don't think so. So then you can die cut these. I'm gonna just get them out. Actually, these would probably be easier just to fussy cut. Sometimes I do that in advance. I did not do that this time. I'm gonna do enough die cutting for you that I think I will just fussy cut these. All right, so I'm just gonna give that a quick trim.
So while you're doing that, I have to ask you, say the word celery again.
Celery.
Celery. I always say
Yes.
celery. You have it 3 syllables. I have 2. Celery.
Oh, celery.
You're like celery.
Celery. You say celery?
Celery.
Oh no,
Yeah.
I always say celery.
Yeah. Must be a Midwest thing.
Regional? Yeah, I don't know. Well, you put French fries on your salad, so
That's true.
I can't get over that. I've never ever heard about that until I met you. So
French fries on a salad, baby. That's the best.
yeah, it's so different.
That's a Pennsylvania thing. Yeah.
So like I said, what's nice is these dies are all like, don't look at these here, but look how they're small. So I can use my mini boss, like my little mini cut and emboss. So I'm going to do that right now. I'm going to bring in, hopefully I can do all of these at the same time. I've got my little pick here, and I've got my celery.
I'm going to have you thinking about it.
I know, I'm going to be paranoid now. Celery. We're going to try to get it on here. Because I actually, oh yeah, I've got tape back there. I say I've got tape back there, but let's see if I can do it. Just place it on there. See if I'm good enough on this one's a little different because you have to, well, I'm gonna guess. Just say a little prayer right now.
I did.
Okay. We're gonna do one more stamping and cutting. Please see how I did. Hey,
You get it?
Not too bad. I'm not gonna.
Hey, looky there.
Test here. This one right here. Oops, that would help if that was a pokey tool side. Just gonna use my take your pick tool and see how I did on my pick. But I think in reality, it's not gonna really. Oh my goodness! Can you see that? I gotta hold that up.
Nailed it.
That is crazy time. I'm patting myself on the back for that one. I mean,
I think you need to take a sip. I think you need to take a sip of whatever's in front of you.
Cheers.
Cheers to you and your amazing die cutting.
That's impressive right there. I'm going to leave this right here because I'm going to bring this paper back in, and on this yellow, I'm going to stamp my. I'm going to do kind of a limey lemon, and I'm going to use the yellow as my lemon, and I'm going to use the lemon lime twist as my lime color. And actually, I'm going to be like my friend Betsy, and I'm just going to cut that with my snips. I think when you're doing a circle, it's so easy. So why?
Pretty easy to do. Yeah.
Yeah. I will keep my machine out though, because I'm going to die cut that little piece of window sheet. So you said something about this little texture. So I'm going to actually show it.
Yeah.
Here's the actual texture. You could, you're going to want to, on mine, you're going to want to do both the outside and the texture part. So I'm going to place that on my window sheet. I'm going to bring my machine back in here. I'm going to put these dies on the card so I don't lose them.
So they fit together and you can run them through at the same time?
Yes, you can run them through together, just like
Nice.
that. Can you see it on there?
Nice.
I got it all. Try to run that through. It's going to add this fun. Oh, you can hear it. If your machine does that, don't panic. It's not breaking. Look at how, I don't know. I don't know. Let's
Oh, I
see.
can see it. Yeah.
Maybe on the dark. Yeah, it's
Yeah.
cool. It's super
Yeah, it's
cool.
very
It's
pretty.
a cool pattern. All right, so now we're done with this. We'll just set that aside. All right, so now we're going to bring in our card here, and we are going to take, oops, I forgot one more thing. I've got to do one of my little strawberries, and I'm going to need both my Granny Apple Green and I'm going to use, you can use your strawberry slush. I'm going to use Poppy Parade. I want my strawberry to be red, good and red. Okay, so this is clear. This is a raised pad, so I'm going to just stamp my strawberry in the Poppy Parade. I'm going to move it over here to the Granny Apple Green. I'm going to kind of roll that in there. I need 2 of these, so I'm going to do it
Nice.
twice.
That's cute. That's
Yeah.
so cute.
And then we can go ahead and color it here in a second.
We're just about at the end of strawberry season, aren't we?
Yes. Well, yes. June, the end of June.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's move those out of the way. I think I'm done with those. I'm going to bring in the lemon lime twist and just color my greenery in. Okay, and then I'm going to do 2 different things. I'm going to bring in my strawberry, my light strawberry slush for one. And color it. I'm kind of funny about, sometimes I'm kind of funny about things. Then I'm going to bring in my, this is my dark.
I'm loving the new ink colors. I'm liking them more and more and more. I'll tell you what.
Yeah, I really am too. Now I got a little bit of the red. I'm just going to highlight some of those seeds that I've kind of made disappear a little bit. And then on this one's going to go in my glass. So I want it to be a little bit more faint. So I'm actually using, strangely, a little petal pink. And because I want that one, it's going to be the illusion of being behind glass. Yes, I think about things like this. I'm very strange sometimes.
Well, there are strawberries that are different colors now, and they
Yes,
have
yes,
different flavors, right?
yeah, they have those ones that are light,
Like
this
like a
color.
light
Yeah.
pink. Yeah.
Yeah, it's really fun. So now I'm just blending that color. Okay, now I can, again, I could die cut this. There's a die for that. Maybe I have to do that because I've lost my snips now. Now I'm like you. What did I do with my snips? And I always have 2 here. They're under my designer series paper.
Here we go. This
know.
is just a lesson learned that you and I should not be sipping while we're stamping. I think that's a safe bet. Though you and I tend to lose things even when we're not. So
That's exactly. I'm like, what are you talking about? That's like a normal. You could do that any time of the day.
Exactly.
Not just after 5.
Yeah.
Okay.
I saw
So
something today. It was said that crafting is like a fun scavenger hunt for you, constantly searching for the thing you just had in your hand.
exactly. So crazy. All right, so here's my little window sheet with my pattern, and I want to put this little strawberry onto my glass. It's going to be sitting in the bottom of my glass. So like Betsy used the ice cubes, I'm going to have a strawberry inside. And then I am going to take my mini glue dots, and I am going to just use a couple mini glue dots. You don't need much to hold this on. and you won't see it. There's a nice pattern here, so I'm only going to use one on each corner. So there's 3, and I can't see it.
Oh, sorry.
Okay.
That's
okay. And so then I'm going to just lay that on top, just like that. I am going to also put a little snip in my lemon lime, and I'm going to put that inside my glass. I want that to be in the window, inside the window sheet, so it looks like it's inside my glass, just like that. And then
That's
I'm
cute.
going to add my celery to my Bloody Mary here, just like that. I want to add my olive right on top of my, well, you don't need much glue here, just a smidge. I'm going to add that right on there, just like it's a pick. And then I'm going to put that in my drink. Just a little, whoops. We'll put that there, and then we'll just add that olive on it like that. Okay, just like that. So that's sitting in there. If you want that to, maybe that bothers you. Maybe you, it doesn't bother me, but you could color this red like it's sitting inside your glass.
Pretty.
All right. So now we are dry here, and we're going to do a little bit of technique using the new, these are our new journaling markers. You get 3 of them in a package. I think they're $9.99. You get 3. They're all the same size. They're all 0.4. And I love to use this to do a little bit of design around the edge. So I, Mary Ellen, decided I would Google. I tried all different words. I wasn't sure exactly what to use, Betsy. So I was like, okay, well, sketchy art for around your design. So anyway, I found this technique, and I thought, I have never used this, and it's absolutely fabulous. I usually try to be real precise, and I do little swirly things. This one is seriously just called sketchy. And so all you're going to do is you're just going to take your marker and you're going to just sketch. Literally just lines, just like this, sketching. You can go over it and over it and over it. And you might go, oh, well, that's not straight. Hello, it doesn't need to be straight. It's a cool, really cool idea.
Well, you just talked me into the journaling pen because I didn't get that yet.
Yeah, they need that. So see how
Shoot.
cool that is? Let me show you on this card here. I think they pretty much are the same. You can
It's
just
pretty, right?
do a little sketchy. It's a little sketchy. You've seen it before in other artwork. So now I'm going to put my card together. This one is going to be just glued on right to my card. Right over here is my little lemonade or my lemonade cocktail. It could be either one. Okay, and then my Bloody Mary, I'm going to pop up on dimensionals. Yeah. You're so much better. My fingers have glue on. Yeah, getting that off of there. Yeah, get off of there.
They kind of hang out.
Okay, and then I'm just gonna, I can have this hanging over the side because remember, it's kind of in the middle of my card. So, but I don't want to lose my sketchiness either. So I'm gonna put it that way. All right, so now I've got my little greeting here. We're going to do the word cheers. And I'm going to bring my Granny Apple Green back in. See if I cut a big enough piece of paper. I'm not sure. I'm going all the way to the right.
When I was cutting my packets and I was cutting for this card, I thought, the strawberry slush, the pink, and then the green. I mean, it would make a really cute, like even watermelon card. If you had somehow to do watermelon, those colors are just perfect for that.
Now this one, I've put a dimensional there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to find my snips again. I'm going to snip that back because I put the dimensional there. I could have moved it. I could have moved it anywhere, but I could move it up there. And this can hang over the edge too, because like I said, it's going to go in the middle of your card here. So now we're ready to put it on, but we want to only glue to this bottom half. So I am going to just put my adhesive here. Got dimensional things all over me. And then I am going to adhere my watercolor paper down. If I had grid paper, I'd feel like usually I put my here. I've got this. Feel better if I'm not rubbing.
Super cute.
With my glue. All right, so now we're going to cut out this other strawberry and pop it up. And that's what's going to hold our easel card open when we're ready for it to sit on somebody's desk. Like I said, there is a die for this. Just if I was not on camera, I would run it through the machine, but it'll take me longer to get everything out. You could put another greeting down there to hold it up. You're going to want it to be dimensional because it's got to hold up the card. So you're going to want to have dimensional on it. And then you can just decide how much you want your card to be dimensionalized. I'm going to stop right there. And then my card will sit right there. The last thing I have to do is add my beautiful gems. And I've got those right here. And I'm going to use the strawberry slush ones with my Take Your Pick tool. I'm just going to put them just like this.
Pretty, 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 pretty.
And then one down here. Because we always say we like to do rules of 3.
Mm-hmm.
Cheers. It's your day.
Aww.
So that gives you room to sign, and it's not in anyone's way. It's easy to mail. You just stamp your envelope to match. Super.
The shininess of the window sheet, the watercoloring on the back, the sketch. I mean, my goodness, it's just got it all.
It's just a really, really, really pretty card. All right, so here's my second card. Now, if you do not like the fussy cut, this one will probably give you a headache. But just it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. Let me bring in the pieces that I have for this. This is called a slimline card. And sometimes we get away from them sometimes, but they are so pretty. And especially for something like this. And I'm going to show you this, what I kind of had in mind when I was doing it. See those gold loose sequins? I just wanted this card to kind of signify bubbles and sparkly and tiny and celebratory.
Look at that.
So just super, super pretty. Okay. So then it says celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. You. And then I've got a couple more die cuts in there. So what you're going to do is you're going to start out with a piece of paper that is 8.5 by 7. And we're going to fold that in half with the 8.5 side being the long, so that we end up with a piece that is 8.5 by 3.5. You're definitely going to want to use your bone folder on that. I could have used my scoring tool. That would have been fine. Then I cut a piece of the, this is cloud cover. I'm sorry I didn't say that's again one of the new in colors. And then on the back of this piece right here is this cloud cover star design. And I thought it was nice and subtle and would be perfect backdrop for the card. So I'm just going to add my designer series paper onto the front of my card. Easy peasy. And set that aside. Then I cut all my little cocktails and then some. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I've got 8. We don't need all 8, but we'll use some inside. We're going to use about 7 on the front of our card. And so now
Look how cute they are. My gosh, they're so cute.
I just cut them out of the paper. It didn't, honestly, Betsy likes the fussy cut way, way more than I do. So, but I actually thought, I actually had to stop Betsy at the time. I was like, you know what? I kind of don't mind it. It didn't exactly bother me. because
They're
I
not,
want these.
well, I think also because they're not super complicated. I mean, it's just pretty much
No,
cutting around the glass, and unless it's only the little top pieces that it has a little bit more detail on.
yeah. And because I wanted those to overlap this way, I wanted to put this one with the umbrella down first. I'm gonna bring in, I got all different things here. So I'm gonna bring in this little one here. See if I can do this. I'm using a little different pieces. They'll each look a little different than what I did on my sample first. Let's bring in this one. Will this work on here? I think it will work if I go way like that. Okay.
I know a couple of people I could easily send this card to, and they would love it.
Yeah. I'm going to tuck this one way over here. See if I can get this in without it looking awkward. I didn't use that on the other one, so it could be okay.
The celery tops are really big.
Celery is definitely
Celery.
Celery.
Celery. I got to pick up some
Okay.
celery.
There we go. Hey, hey.
Cute.
All right, so now I'm going to take this teeny tiny little strip, it's about 1/4 of an inch, and I'm going to take the word celebrate, which I have moved and maybe lost because I ripped it off of, no, I ripped it off when I put It's Your Day on, and now it's gone. It's stuck. I found it.
It's
It's
stuck
stuck
to
on
something.
one of my blends, and I'm going to use Blackberry Bliss, but I only want the word celebrate. So again, I'm going to, can you see that? Am I on camera?
Mm-hmm. Yep, you're good.
Picking up the word celebrate 3 times. This is really minuscule. But when you're the one getting the card, you're going to be able to see it perfectly.
Mm-hmm.
Just like that. And we'll snip that apart. I'm going to leave that open because I'm going to use it for the inside. There we go.
Cute.
All right. Now I used, I want this to pop up. So I'm going to use dimensionals, but I don't want a whole dimensional is going to be too big for that. So I love to use the mini dimensionals, and this, there's about a 3/8 of an inch border here that is not got anything cut out of it. And so what I like to do is I just like to cut a really, really thin line, and I'm going to use that as my poppy uppy part. So I'm going to take that off. I'm just going to stick that on there. It's so much easier than using the mini dimensional and having to cut it in half. And I just like to use a little
This is great. Yeah,
strip.
because it just
And
gives you all that, the dimension
use,
you need.
yep, everything gets used. Nothing goes to waste.
Mm-hmm.
And then I can slip that back in there. Okay, then I'm going to share a little tip that maybe if you haven't been following us that long, Betsy shared with me, and I had not really thought about it, and I've been using it now a lot. I'm going to share it. I'm not going to necessarily do it, and I'll tell you what that is in just a second. It has to do with adding all my gold sequins. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to actually use my glue, and I'm just going to put a bunch of dots on my card, willy-nilly. And I'm going to kind of set it aside. If I had a lot of time, I would set this aside. I hope I can see all those.
Mm-hmm.
Up there. I'm going to set that
I was going
aside.
to say, I was trying to count while you did it, and I
I
lost
don't know.
count.
I'm probably never going to find them all, but I'm going to set that aside while I do the inside. So I'm going to use this one cocktail that I have on my inside. And you're going to say, well, that's drying. It's okay. It's going to get tacky. my friend Betsy, she's really smart at this, and she taught me to let it get tacky and then add your sequence. So I've got celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. So I'm going to say you on my inside. It's just a fun, just way to mimic the outside. This is the word says to you, but I'm only going to use the word you. So
Cute.
that's my inside just like that. I'm not going to put it in yet because I don't want to disturb that glue. I'm going to bring in my loose gold sequins now and my take your pick tool. And I'm going to just start dotting. I got to clean that off and get some more putty coming out. So if you don't know how to do it, you can clean it off. You can put it, it's still coming out. I'm going to back it off so it stops. I'm just going to tap it down. And then I'm going to just start picking up sequins. I probably should have had a little two tools here, but this one's upside down. I'm going to try to get them not upside down.
Sometimes what I do is put a couple of them in the lid, and then I kind of shake the lid so it makes them, so that I can get a couple. There you go, like easier to grab.
Yeah, that's really good. You could use two pokey tools or take your pick tools to kind of, I'm just using my fingernail. You could use the edge of your snips to kind of hold that down. So what I'm doing, like I said earlier, is I wanted to give that really celebratory sparkle to this card. And so it's got just a lot. But you know what? These sequins, there's like 2,050 in there. So I've counted them, and I know that for a fact. It's on the internet.
Right, that was funny.
On the internet, so you got to believe it. She said it on the internet, so it's real. Yeah. So anyway, there's a lot. So use a lot. I mean, seriously,
it's super cute.
So fun. Got a lot of glue, but that really because I let it sit for a minute. It's actually they're going on very much easier than if I had just jumped right in and done it immediately because then it would have been not wanting to stick. And you can see how easy it's sticking.
Yeah, it's when the glue gets like a little tacky, they just stick so much versus sliding all over the place.
Yeah. This one is stuck to that one is upside down now. There. One more. I'm going to turn that one upside down. There, that one's already. And that one goes here. I think I got all the glue. Let me look. Oh, no, wait. I see one more. Right there.
Cute. That's so cute.
It's just a lot. It just adds a lot of little glimmering. So now I can put my piece on the inside, and that is all there is to this card. It doesn't take, it's not a ton of stamping. I'm just stamping my greetings, and I've used this beautiful paper that is all got the watercolor washes already. I didn't have to be a watercoloring expert. And there I've got my celebrate, celebrate, celebrate. You. And this fits, in case you're wondering, like, well, now what? How do I mail that? This fits in a regular letter size envelope, or what we like to call a number 10 envelope that you mail your regular letters in. So here is my two of those. And then here is my little easel card.
Nice. Oh my goodness. Can you imagine getting one of those in the mail? Somebody feel pretty darn special if they got that.
Yeah, look at all that. There was a lot. This one maybe is a little more refined. This one's like, it's all over. But
that's called you've been sipping a little bit.
I don't mind it. I don't mind it
either. No. I mean, if you're going to celebrate, you want to celebrate.
Well, let's talk a little bit while I've got your attention. Let's talk a little bit about next month. Are we ready to talk about that?
Yeah, I think so. So this was June. We're getting ready for July.
Yes, we're getting ready for July. And in July, we have something called new online exclusives coming in July. And they start at the beginning of July. And we are going to feature one of the new online exclusives in our for our July Stamp It Your Way, and it is called Perfectly Pairs. What's the whole bundle called? Is it different? The paper is called Painterly Pairs, and the bundle is Perfectly Pairs. And I want to show you the dies too, because they are unique. There is some texture in it. Here's some texture, label. I love when there's a label. There's actually two labels in here. There's standalone, there's ones that cut out, and then there's standalone dies for the little blooms, and then the little branch, and then ones that cut out the stamping, and then a couple labels. Love, love, love that. And here is a Perfectly Pair set, and it is a two-step stamping. That goes way back to our beginning when we, started Stampin' Up. We did two-step stamping, and I love that you can get the outline and the color at the same time, and you don't have to be an artist. And then there's this beautiful shimmery mossy meadow and gold. Can you see it enough? I don't have it open. It's really
it's pretty. Yeah, you can see the green in it. Yeah, the green and gold.
Oh, and there's some gems too. Hold on, I've got them right here. These are the low profile sparkle dots. These go with the sweet too. There is, does it say the colors on here? No. Well, there's yellow, green, and
I love the low profile because they're so easy to mail.
Yes, right? They're nice.
Yeah.
But they're nice and flat. But these are sparkly, so super, super fun. But let me show you this paper. It's gorgeous. I love this paper. The artwork is outstanding. Just like what we're using now, there's some patterns. But look at this one.
Oh my gosh!
Can you just even cutting that for your cards? But what about your scrapbooks too, right? And that pattern is so gorgeous. Just beautiful. It's just, I love that. That's totally me.
Pairs are really in right now.
They are. And then this is stunning with the black background. I wouldn't even have thought of that.
Right.
And there's Darling Duckling. It's very, this reminds me of just beautiful wallpaper, actually.
Yeah.
I love it. There's some.
It's got a little bit of a tropical feel to it as well.
It does. And then here, oh, gorgeous, right? Just gorgeous. It's a totally different color, with the oranges and Cajun crazes. And then there's your mossy again. So we're going to be doing that for our July. So that was really fun, Betsy. I really like it.
Yeah. I mean, the cheers and sips with all of the bright, beautiful paper with all those glasses and all of those different designs that you can do. And you don't have to fussy cut. You can die cut or you can stamp and die cut. There's so many options there available to you.
It really is.
Yeah, exactly. So,
and the colors are outstanding. The colors are just gorgeous. Every color is beautiful.
I agree. Well, definitely reach out to us regarding July. If you're interested in the pairs, we offer our registration from the 1st of the month to usually around the 10th of the month. That way we close out at the 10th and we can place our orders. The bundles are not included with the kit. So obviously you want to add that. You can add that on as an add-on item to get the bundle or any embossing folders or anything like that you might be interested in that might coordinate with it. But it's super easy, and you just plan on meeting us back here and we'll show you how to make your cards.
Yep, we'll always be back here on the fourth Wednesday of the month at 7 p.m. Central, and what is it, 8 p.m. Eastern, correct?
It is. Yes, exactly. Yep. So we'll be back here and we'll show you the pairs, and hopefully if you want the kit, you can contact us. And if you are interested in any prior kits, tutorials, things like that, if you see a video on here and you're like, oh, I'd like the measurements of that, or what exactly did they use? We do have our tutorials available, and again, our PayHip stores. And those links are in our the description of this video. So make sure you click on that to take a look at our tutorial store.
That's right.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, check us out. We're so glad you joined us. Hey, how about a little cheers to everybody? Thanks again for joining us on our fun little just stamping adventure, right?
That's right.
Excellent. All right, everybody. Have a fantastic rest of June and can't wait to see you in July.
Bye, everybody.
Bye.